Famous Hollywood filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife were brutally killed in their Brentwood, Los Angeles home on Sunday, December 14th afternoon. Even a long-standing industry was shocked by the news, not accustomed to disaster. His death has disturbed people more than the violence, who authorities say is responsible. Rob Reiner freely discussed his son just 9 days before his sudden death, a chilling reality that cannot be ignored. What did Rob Reiner disclose in his final days? Why is that moment important today more than ever? Was this catastrophe unforeseeable? Were warning indicators hidden in plain sight? Follow us as we detail everything. Last days of Rob Reiner. On Sunday, December 14th, beloved director Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, were found deceased in their Los Angeles home. Within 24 hours, their 32-year-old son, Nick Reiner, was arrested for murder at 9:15 p.m. Processing the case is complicated by how typical everything was before the event. Rob and Michelle did not isolate themselves or hide in the days before their deaths. Out with friends, they socialized and made plans. They had dinner with Maria Shriver at Amici in Brentwood, less than 48 hours before their murder. The owner of the restaurant, Tancredi Duca, reported no issues. Staff remembered the group buying the winter special, make sole and lemon caper sauce with pasta, broccoli, and roasted potatoes. Not a typical night. Neither stress nor danger shown. The next night, December 13th, Rob and Michelle attended Conan O'Brien's annual holiday party. Los Angeles' comedy and entertainment community considers the gathering a pleasant, comfortable event. Past guests include Bill Burr, Martin Short, Adam Sandler, and Tom Hanks. This year, Jane Fonda also attended. Rob and Michelle brought their son Nick, who wasn't invited. Reports suggest they took him along owing to concerns about leaving him alone due to recent conduct. Nick immediately distinguished himself. He wore a hoodie while others dressed formally. Looking at guests, he inquired about their names and fame. Nick's erratic behavior throughout the night caused discomfort for several visitors, according to many reports. He reportedly yelled at his father. A family acquaintance called Nick's behavior entitled, while others believed it was exaggerated and attributed it to his struggle to live under his father and grandfather's shadow. All agreed that Rob and Michelle were concerned about their son and were seeking assistance. During the celebration, the three exited Conan O'Brien's house. If they left together or apart is unknown. The next day, Rob and Michelle planned. Expecting massage therapists at home, they planned dinner with Barack and Michelle Obama later that evening. Never followed through on their plans. A massage therapist called Romy, the Reiner's daughter, after arriving at their home on Sunday afternoon and not receiving a response at the gate. Romy entered the house. The cops were summoned at 3:38 p.m. Yellow warning tape has been placed around the site by early evening. Neighbors reported seeing close friends like Billy Crystal and Larry David arrive at the site. 2 persons were found deceased inside the home by Los Angeles police shortly before 9:00 p.m. Reiner, Rob, was 78. Michelle Singer Reiner, 70. They were found with stab wounds to their throats and other injuries throughout their bodies. Later, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner attributed their deaths to multiple sharp force injuries. After a few hours, authorities focused on the couple's youngest kid. Nick Reiner was reportedly going around Los Angeles that day. On December 14th, he was reported to have visited the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel, approximately 11 miles from his family home. Police searched but found no one. Nick was caught on security cameras entering an AM market over 18 miles distant later that night. He came, went, and bought blue Gatorade. He appeared calm and relaxed. Within 15 minutes, he was arrested. Early on December 15th, Nick Reiner was booked into the Twin Towers detention facility in downtown Los Angeles. On Tuesday, December 16th, prosecutors charged him with 2 first-degree murders. The motive and particular reason for targeting him as a suspect have not been divulged by authorities. The case is haunted by what happened hours before the conclusion. Rob told close guests at the party that he was afraid his kid could hurt him, according to sources. At the moment, the comment may have seemed like stress-fueled terror. A new interpretation of the text poses persistent questions. Is this tragedy actually unforeseeable? Did warning indicators already exist, hidden in plain sight? To see the significance of this question, we must step back. Before the investigation, publicity, and dying hours, Rob Reiner was already well known in the public eye. His life was influenced by his stories, characters, and films, which shaped viewers' understanding of love, friendship, fear, and justice. The career-defining Rob Reiner movie. First appearing on All in the Family in the 1970s, Rob Reiner became a household name in America. In the early 1980s, he made a shift that shaped his career. Long-term acting was abandoned in favor of directing. In 1984, Reiner's low-budget mockumentary, This Is Spinal Tap, became a cult classic and distinguished him as a director with strong instincts and confidence. He ran relentlessly after that. Over the next decade, he seamlessly transitioned across genres, directing The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, and The American President. His unconventional range identified him as a versatile director. Reiner continued to appear on screen after retiring from acting in 1978. He played smaller roles in films such as Postcards from the Edge, Sleepless in Seattle, The First Wives Club, and The Wolf of Wall Street. He played himself on Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Simpsons, Studio 60, and 30 Rock, and later played Zoe Deschanel's father on New Girl. Reiner's film Stand By Me, released in 1986, is a timeless classic. Based on Stephen King's novella, The Body, the film depicted four boys searching for a missing child's body. Reiner received nominations for the Golden Globes, Directors Guild of America, and Independent Spirit Awards for the box office success. Initially nominated for Best Drama at the Globes and Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars, the picture became a cherished coming-of-age story. After decades, the film stars recalled Reiner as a director who made them feel safe and respected on set, even as children. Wil Wheaton stated that Reiner never made young performers feel insignificant or fortunate. He mentored them gently, letting them function organically in their jobs. Reiner subsequently stated that Stand By Me was his most meaningful effort, as it was the first to properly reflect his personality and sensibility, blending humor and tragedy in a genuinely personal way. The most significant story of Rob Reiner's career was not on screen, despite his notable films. The event unfolded alongside his job. The love tale behind Rob Reiner's exceptional films. Michelle Singer Reiner and Rob Reiner met during the production of When Harry Met Sally. Rob was single for a decade after his 10-year divorce from Penny Marshall, which included adopting Marshall's daughter Tracy. Years later, he confessed to no longer believing in reuniting with anyone. Meeting Michelle altered that. Although the film was still in development, Rob reconsidered its ending. The original story, in which the two main characters did not end up together, felt incomplete. After meeting Michelle 3/4 through production, he realized the possibility of connection and teamwork, which inspired the film's final act. The film became a romantic classic during its time, reflecting the love story behind the scenes. In 1989, Rob and Michelle married. They had 3 children during the next few years. Their oldest son, Jake, was born in 1991. Nick followed 2 years later. Romy, their daughter, was born in 1997. By the end of the decade, their relationship had gained solidity. A 1999 W magazine photo session in their California home captured their true selves as a couple. Later, Michael Mundy, the photographer, stated that the shoot felt natural due to familiarity among all participants. The comfort between Rob and Michelle was immediate and unforced, according to him. He described the photographs as genuine moments of tenderness, noting Rob's ability to make Michelle laugh and their easy connection. He claimed that capturing their evident warmth and physical connection was a gift rather than a task. Mundy observed Michelle's gaze at Rob, indicating their profound love and equal concern for their children. Later, he expressed gratitude for preserving the originals, as any alteration would have been dishonest. Rob believed his work and self-worth spoke for themselves, so he did not need to promote them. Over the next 26 years, the collaboration gained strength. Rob stated that their marriage strengthened over time as they became best friends. He attributed his personal growth to Michelle, who raised him in ways that went beyond career accomplishment. Others noticed the same thing. After working with Rob on multiple projects, cinematographer Barry Merowitz referred to Michelle as Rob's anchor and the driving force behind everything. He called her the household center, holding everything together. Mundy characterized Michelle as strong, anchored, and grounded in reality. Rob's childhood, as the son of famed writer and performer Carl Reiner, was balanced. According to him, Michelle's directness and humor enabled her to navigate Rob's world while keeping him grounded. At the time of their deaths, individuals closest to Rob and Michelle reported no issues. A long marriage, stable existence, and a family that has endured hardships. But that stability was challenging. It was scarred. Rob Reiner revealed his home's most dangerous tension years before the murders. The film reflected his true anxieties as a father, not in secret or in hindsight. Once art, now caution, personal family film by Rob Reiner. A decade before to the murder of Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, Rob filmed a film that revealed family difficulties, especially his connection with his son, Nick Reiner. Nick was arrested and charged with murdering his parents, with the LAPD claiming he was responsible. Before the criminal case, the disagreement between Rob, Michelle, and their kid was already public for some time. During 2015, the Reiner family published Being Charlie, a film on the challenges of caring for an addict child. Nick, who struggled with substance misuse, co-wrote the script with a friend he met in recovery, drawing from their shared experiences. Rob directed the film, utilizing his own experience as a father navigating fear, control, and desperation. The family-approved initiative provided a genuine glimpse inside the Reiner household during Nick's difficult time. Cary Elwes took on the role of Rob, while Nick Robinson played the fictitious Nick in the film. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in September 2015 and aired on Starz the following year. The story revolved around 18-year-old Charlie Mills, an addict and the son of a political movie star. Charlie disliked his parents' strict approach to addiction management, especially the frequent treatment stays. The family later realized that this dynamic reflected their actual reality at the time. The story had no clear conclusion. As opposed to mending, it ended with a shaky halt and temporary ceasefire. The father admits to mistreating his youngster, cruel and insensitive. Rob later revealed that the film's apology represented his duty to his son and his real-life apology. Rob acknowledged at a family dinner years later that they ignored Nick's warnings about the treatment approach's ineffectiveness. He revealed that they made decisions based on fear and trusted doctors with credentials over their own child, despite feeling wrong. Michelle stated that they initially assumed Nick was lying and manipulating them, but subsequently realized their error. During the conversation, Nick briefly said that he chose sobriety due to exhaustion from his previous lifestyle. He expressed exhaustion from upheaval, homelessness, and behavior that contradicted his familial background. The video helped the family absorb how Nick's addiction had changed their life, according to reviewers. Rob stated at a post-screening Q&A at TIFF that the endeavor was not intended as therapy but turned cathartic. When discussing their relationship, he admitted to difficulties throughout production and difficulty in portraying their reality honestly. Nick acknowledged that such moments could be overpowering. Rob suggested the film would help them improve, but Nick did not respond. Rob revealed in later interviews that his friendship with Nick had greatly improved by the time the movie was made. However, Nick voiced uncertainty about participating. At one point, he expressed doubt about attending. One reporter felt Rob's belief in closure was mostly aspirational rather than completely achieved. Critics noted that the film presented conflicting viewpoints that were never fully resolved. One side supporting the son stressed the lengthy, messy rehabilitation process. Those aligned with the father sought closure, endured a low period, and moved forward as if normalcy could resume. The assessment found that these opinions remained unresolved, even after the final agreement. After Rob and Michelle's deaths, Being Charlie resurfaced on YouTube, sparking discussions on how to support children with addiction. Previously imaginary scenes now carry more weight. The film depicts a confrontation between a father and son in their family home, which viewers may not realize until the couple's tragic end. This film offers a glimpse into the Reiner family's life. The most unnerving aspect is not the violence itself. The lengthy path preceded it. Nick Reiner battled addiction for years, an ongoing struggle that caused cycles of dread, optimism, and frustration for his family. On December 14th, Rob and Michelle were found dead in their Los Angeles home, causing shock throughout Hollywood. However, it has also emotionally impacted parents with addict children, prompting them to confront familiar questions. Nick's addiction was public before his parents' deaths. He revealed in a 2016 People interview that his struggle began in his early teens and led to him living on the streets. He claimed to have completed 18 rehabs. Even with abundant resources, treatment was never easy. The National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics reports that the average cost of individual recovery in California surpasses $56,000, with long-term programs frequently exceeding millions. Although families like the Reiners could afford care, availability alone did not ensure recovery. Mental illness can aggravate addiction, necessitating further therapy. After Nick's murders, concerns regarding his mental health increased. A Reiner family representative did not confirm a diagnosis, but it was clear that Rob and Michelle, like many other parents, struggled to find a path that helped their child. They regretted his addiction treatment years ago. In a Los Angeles Times interview, Rob and Michelle discussed how typical recovery programs may not work for many individuals. When Nick reported program failures, Rob stated that they didn't listen. He added that they trusted professionals with qualifications above their own son out of desperation, even though it later seemed awful. Over the next decade, Nick's condition worsened despite their attempts. A source informed people that his addiction was beyond his parents' control. A trusted source reported failure to achieve stability with him, despite attempts to provide distance and closeness. Parents characterized the incident as their greatest dread. Following Rob and Michelle's murders, it was revealed that Nick had been diagnosed with schizophrenia beforehand. Two reliable sources informed TMZ that the individual was using dangerous medication and had a medication change about a month prior to the murders, which worsened his behavior. According to those accounts, his condition was worsened by persistent substance addiction. None of these assertions have been confirmed by the family. The arrest of Nick occurred on December 14th at around 9:15 p.m., shortly after his parents were found with deadly knife wounds. The LAPD reported his whereabouts near the University of Southern California campus. 2 counts of first-degree murder have been filed against him. The accusations carry a possible sentence of life in prison without parole or the death penalty, but prosecutors have not decided on capital punishment, according to Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman. Nick has not yet filed a plea. Nick's childhood details revealed few days after his imprisonment. A former yoga instructor who advised the Reiner family discussed behavioral issues she observed before the murders. Nick's behavior was described as complex and challenging, like a perfect storm that defied simple solutions. In response to issues, Rob and Michelle sought additional support and asked her to work with Nick individually to help him manage his energy. While she saw progress during those sessions, she acknowledged ongoing obstacles. She believes Nick's troubles are insurmountable for anyone to adequately handle. She praised Rob and Michelle as involved parents, highlighting Michelle's dedication to her children. The instructor expressed shock but not surprise at Rob and Michelle's deaths, highlighting their unwavering efforts to assist their son. Says, "Some situations are simply beyond what any parent can control." Jake and Romy Reiner, the couple's other children, made their first public appearance this week. In a statement, they characterized the loss of their parents as tragic and inconceivable, describing unremitting pain. They declined to address the claims against their brother, requesting privacy and honoring their parents' lives and love. Nick made his first court appearance on Wednesday, waiving his right to enter a plea. The arraignment was postponed until January 7th to allow for a psychiatric evaluation to evaluate his fitness for trial. During the brief hearing, he just confirmed his understanding of his rights. He sat away from cameras, wearing a suicide prevention smock, and remained mostly hidden. Alan Jackson, his attorney, said reporters that the case had complex and significant concerns that would require time to resolve. He urged restraint and decorum during the legal procedure, recommending against hasty judgment. Nick Reiner is currently in detention at Twin Towers Correctional Facility until his next court appearance. Many families acknowledge that they hover over everything but rarely discuss it. Truth, love, resources, and effort may not always lead to recovery, and some struggles leave deep scars before making headlines. 9 days before his death, Rob Reiner revealed the truth about his son. Reportedly, hours before the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, at their Brentwood home, the famous Hollywood director shared a rare parental confession with colleagues. He admitted to being afraid of his son and how he could hurt him. The statements were spoken at a holiday party on Saturday night, soon before Rob and Michelle were found dead in their mansion. Those present reported that Rob admitted he never expected to speak such a thing, but his dread had reached a breaking point. In the aftermath of the murders, close friends repeated these sentiments, their meaning becoming unavoidable. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner ruled both deaths as homicides due to multiple sharp force injuries. Rob and Michelle, as observant Jews, hoped to be buried within 24 hours. Instead, cops conducted a double murder investigation while keeping their bodies in custody. Friends promptly prepared a memorial to fulfill the couple's wishes instead of a burial. In attendance were Billy Crystal, his wife Janice, Larry David, Bill Herr, and Conan O'Brien. All attended O'Brien's holiday party the night before the murders. Rob and Michelle brought their kid, Nick Reiner, as they were worried about leaving him alone. At 32, Nick lived in the guest home of his parents' $13.5 million Brentwood estate. Having fought with drug addiction since his youth, he had visited at least 18 rehabs and faced homelessness. According to sources, his behavior at the party was chaotic and frightening. Nick was introduced to Bill by Rob. Nick allegedly interrupted her mid-conversation. Hader reportedly claimed he was having a private conversation. Nick was angry, stood motionless, gazed at him, and left. Sources report that Rob expressed his concern about his son to friends shortly after. The remarks were revisited at Monday's service, where the ramifications became apparent and the environment got tense. The Daily Mail contacted representatives of those present for comment. Rob's party remarks were rejected by one representative. Several hours after the celebration, authorities claimed Nick killed his parents at home in the early hours of Sunday morning, that a massage therapist contacted Romy, the rear's 27-year-old daughter, after being unable to enter the home that afternoon. Romy quickly found her father's body and fled in distress. Her mother was also killed, she subsequently learned. Police found Billy Crystal and his wife Janice outside the residence wiping away tears. Crystal, along with Albert Brooks, Larry David, Martin Short, and Barry Levinson, praised Rob Reiner as a legendary comedy performer and storyteller. The master bedroom had both victims and no suspects, according to police. At roughly 9 p.m. on Sunday, Nick was apprehended near Expo, Vermont Metro Station. He had checked into a hotel in Santa Monica earlier that morning. Approximately an hour before his arrest, surveillance footage showed him cautiously buying Gatorade at a gas station. Nick is currently facing 2 first-degree murder charges and is being jailed without bail. He appeared briefly in court wearing an anti-suicide vest, but did not enter a plea. His attorney, Alan Jackson, wanted additional time as it was too early to proceed. Nick's arraignment was postponed until January 7th as prosecutors seeked the death sentence. Friends say Nick was shy, reclusive, and darkly hilarious in his youth. Rob apparently drove him to and from work daily. Nick pursued stand-up comedy and gained fame through his father's influence. Nick once remarked that remaining sober for a year would feel like eternity, a line that eventually appeared in the film Being Charlie, based on their real-life hardships. Friends reported Nick's mental state deteriorating in the months before the murders, putting Rob and Michelle at their wits' end. They took him to the party Saturday night to stay close. By Sunday morning, prosecutors believe Rob Reiner's final warning became a horrific reality. Is Nick likely to reveal his motive for murdering his parents? Please share your ideas in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video on your screen. You'll like.